Of CashTheChaos.com is also with us on the show now. Jay, what's the read looking like on the markets now? We've been at these high elevated levels for the last couple of days, unable to punch higher and move towards that 19,000 mark, but we're not giving up ground as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Rima. See, the markets are poised at such a point that we have possibly, seen a major top from the June lows. This is not something new that I'm saying. I had said this on the 2nd of August, that if the market could exceed the all-time high registered in October 2021 and then start to decline and continue the correction that started in October 21. Right now, we need further evidence for the market from the market itself that it's already topped. But if you look at cross assets, or if you look at other equity markets in the world, like the DAX or the S&P, even there are growing evidence that we have seen a complete move from the June low. So watch out, be cautious. If significant supports break, this could be a start of a significant downturn.
What would those markers be for you, Jay, afternoon?
Sorry, say that again.
What would those markers be? You said if, those levels break. What are those levels?
Yeah, the near-term 18,420 support on the Nifty is pretty important. But 18,130 would probably be a complete trend reversal for me. But we need to assess as the markets go down to those levels. We wanted to do it in a particular fashion, but just on pure levels basis, look at 18,130 as the very important trend shift level.
Hi Jay, good afternoon. Jay, on autos, I think you had briefly mentioned the last time as well, you're getting a sense that things are topping out there. Levels on the index?
Yeah, it's struggling to move ahead, but it's not breaking support. Usually that kind of price action would lead to markets falling on its own weight. Right now, the significant level for the auto index is about 12,600 to 400. If the index goes below those levels, I think we are in for a sizable correction for the auto sector. But if you look at tire stocks, they might still have a little bit of upside left in the short term, but it's not a fresh long. If you're already long in MRF, CEAT, or JK Tire, you want to hold on with trailing stops. But if the index were to break 12,600, I think we need to get out and book profits even as investors.
Okay, let's get to some trades then. Pidilite and Wipro. What is the chart telling you? Can you read them for us?
Yeah, Pidilite, if you look at the short-term charts, the recent high registered somewhere about 2,900 doesn't seem like a complete high. It's starting to inch up from 2550, and it's pushing somewhere close to probably 3050 to 3100. But since the market is poisoned in a way that I mentioned just before, I want to be a little more conservative and think it's heading somewhere close to 3,000 with a stop below 2545. Wipro, surprisingly, it's been very weak among the IT plays. I've been bullish on mid-cap IT, but this has been underperforming even compared to Infosys, TCS, and HCL Tech. And it's looked like it's completed a short-term correction and turning down for extreme short-term moves somewhere close to 375. So, a stop above 420 would make sense for a price objective close to 376.
Okay, there is Pidilite and Wipro, and those are some trades from Jay. Jay, the other is FMCG as a space, right? And I think you think there the uptrend is still intact?
Yeah, that's right. Probably, the market is sensing it's trying to get into a defensive play. Although it's fatigued, but ITC is probably completed a move, but probably there'll be a resistance to let it go down, and it might push higher. But as long as the index stays above 42.5K, it's trending up. And there is the strongest stock for me is Britannia, and it's still got a little more upsides left to complete on the to form a top.
Okay, all right. Jay, what about the other two big global indicators? One is Brent and one is the dollar index. Now, Brent went to more than $100 and it's corrected to the low 80s, while the dollar index from 115, it's come to 105. Where are they headed?
Yeah, see, let's take the dollar index first. The dollar index is, in a correction to the move, it started from January 2021. And usually around the beginning of the year, the dollars, or most of the currency market starts to show where they are actually heading. So this looks like a correction to me. And if the dollar index goes above 108, I would think the short-term correction is done and the next leg up has started. Until that, be a little more neutral. But from a medium to long-term perspective, I'm bullish on the dollar index. When it comes to Brent, there are two possibilities here. One is a bearish possibility, another one is a short-term bump up, but the medium term is down. If the markets, if Brent were to break below 80, it will be a bearish fall, probably propelled by a fall in the equity markets and demand destruction. This is probably a deflationary scenario, but I don't know if this is going to play out. But in my sense is that if it will probably bounce somewhere close to 92, and then we can take a call beyond that. I would sense the market is actually pushing Brent somewhere close to 102 before it starts the next leg down for the medium term.
Jay, what about IT? The 52-week low on Nifty IT was hit sometime in September. And after that, this index and individual stocks and the constituents have been on a one-way recovery. The Nifty IT index has recovered close to about 16-17% from its 52-week highs, and it is making higher tops. Do you think this recovery can extend itself for some more time?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the markets to show its hand. It can be interpreted both ways, whether the July low or the September low that it registered, which are pretty close to each other. Is it a medium-term bottom or is it a short-term bottom? There are both possible interpretation. We need markets to show its hand the next couple of sessions. But I've been bullish on select mid-cap names like Persistent, Coforge, Sasken. You might want to take profits in those stocks at current levels. In the event that what we saw from July to December is just a short-term move, we don't want to be caught holding the bag.
The other one which has moved quite sharply is the dollar rupee. I think the rupee lost some 40 paise yesterday. It's, I think, down. The dollar is up some, I think, 70 paise. That's a big move that we're seeing on the, look at that. It's gone almost completely unnoticed. It's a full 1% move on the dollar rupee today after what we saw yesterday. That's a 80 paise move. We're back at 82.62 despite this massive fall in oil that we've seen. Right? That is, what do you make of it briefly, Bala?
Yeah, see, I had put out a note, a tweet on November 8th that the dollar USD pair is actually likely to bottom around 80.5, and it did exactly 80.5, and it's actually starting to push towards 87. So the recent 83.5 highs that we saw, that's very likely to go. Great probability here, but it's not going to stop there. We're going to probably see 87 and plus. So I don't know if it's going to be because there could be a stock market decline that leads to a weaker rupee. But the structure is such that the next leg of the weakness for the rupee has set in.
Okay, next leg for the rupee has set in 82.6 against the dollar now. Need to get into a very short break. We'll come back with the market closing rates and some more market talk.
It's a paradox that how can someone be so